Hello everyone and welcome to Real Talk with Esh. I'm Esh. Thank you for joining me on the very first episode of this brand new vlog, podcast, show. Thank you. Goodbye. No, thank you all for coming by. This is the first episode, pilot episode if you will, of Real Talk with Esh. The much anticipated, maybe, requested, yes, some requests. A requested show where I just talk about junk, and then I'll do some other stuff. So the way this is going to work is that we'll have 3 sections of the show. The very first section will be just me talking about random junk. Then the second section will be answering questions that you guys sent in via Twitter or AskFM. And then the final portion, skippable if you aren't into it, is the Esh News, which is just some announcements for upcoming things and stuff. So for right now, tentatively, I'm going to do one this Sunday, and then I'll try to do another next Sunday, and we'll just sort of see how it goes. And see if I have enough stuff to talk about to make it weekly. If it doesn't work out, then it might go to a monthly or bi-weekly or something like that. But in the meantime, let's get down to business. Thank you. So, I'd like to talk a minute about a predicament that I am currently residing within the loins of. Video games. A lot of them have come out, and none of them have interested me very much at all. I'm going to be honest. Not very many of them have really interested me. I'm currently playing WildStar-ish. I just don't have enough time, really, to play it too much. I'm also playing, if you've joined the stream, over on twitch.tv/EchPlays. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft. It's pretty much all I've been playing is Minecraft. It's actually quite a bit of fun. I feel like Minecraft is even better streaming live than it is to record it as a Let's Play, because there's a lot of downtime in Minecraft, specifically modded Minecraft, because there's so much time that you have to sink into things. So you get a lot of time to talk to the people in chat and stuff like that, so that's been a good time. I've been playing it. It's got like 200 plus mods or something nuts like that on the installation. Having a good time. Having a great time meeting some new people and playing some Minecraft. So, if you're into that, feel free to go check it out. If you're not into that, go fuck yourself. No, don't go fuck. I always think, when you tell someone to go fuck themselves, sorry, it doesn't seem like a bad thing, really. I mean, it's obviously said intentionally to be negative, like, hey, go do something negative to yourself because you don't want you here. But reality, you're talking about masturbation, and I feel like it's time for us to all admit that masturbation's pretty great. Alright? You don't have to initiate conversations with anyone else unless you're real kinky, and I know you are. You just gotta get down with yourself. You literally gotta feel yourself. That's it. And then you have a good old time. You can do it as long or as short as you want to. Boom. It's perfect. It's good for everyone. As long as you're not doing it in front of other people against their will. I do not condone that. Don't masturbate in front of other people unless they're into it. Like you've explicitly said, hey dude or dudette, I'm gonna start masturbating right now. Would you be into staying and sticking around so we can, do some sort of joint situation? Me and you, us two, eye to eye, staring into each other's eyes really sensually. If they're like, you know what? I'm very much into that. Then yeah, go to town. Do it. But if they're like, I'm gonna have to pass. No, I don't want to be in and or around any of that. Then you have to, be like, okay, fine. But if you change your mind, here's my business card. Just give me your business card. That's why their business cards are still relevant. Just in case you want to masturbate and you get it. I don't want to. Let's just stop right there. Okay, thank you. Let's move on back. Let's move on back to the topic at hand, which is video games. Like, there's all these cool games came out, like Metal Gear Solid and Mad Max and some other games. But none of them, they're great games. There's always great games out, and then you're like, man, I just really am not titillated for any of them. You guys get it. And I feel like I'm in that. I've been in that for a while now. Like, there's not a game that when I end the stream, I'm like, man, I really need to play that. I need to spend the rest of my free time playing that until I die. There's nothing like that. So there's a few games coming out that I'm really excited about. I've tried to keep my wish list on Steam updated because I'm really into lists mostly. You guys can check that out on my Steam account. Obviously Fallout 4 is coming out in the November 10th, and I'm going to be streaming that, and I'm really excited to play it. But also there's games like Overwatch that's going to be starting a beta test this month, I think. Very soon. Some other games I'm looking forward to. I really want to play Rainbow Six Siege, but I'm not sure if I really, really want to play it, but I'm not sure if I'm willing to dedicate $60 to it. We'll see. So that's where I am in video games. If you guys are in the same situation, I'm sorry for you. Feel free to seppuku to put yourself out of this gameless misery that we're currently residing in. It's like a tornado. It's like a tornado that's sucking away all of my passion and emotions into a tornado pit. There's a pit involved. There's some sort of pit or receptacle where my soul is going to be kept after the tornado has sucked all the fun out of my life. Okay, move on. Let's move on before I cry on stream. So, how can we have a corn chip that tastes exactly like a goddamn hamburger, but we haven't managed to make, like, broccoli taste like chicken yet? How has that happened? How do we live in a world where a potato chip can taste like a hamburger, like a fucking, like, stuff you don't even want a chip to taste like? Stuff you wish that the actual thing it's flavored after didn't taste like the thing it's flavored after? Like, I don't know. There's salt and vinegar chips. Tastes exactly like you would imagine a salt and vinegar chip would taste like. Why? I don't know. I wish salt and vinegar didn't taste like salt and vinegar does, and yet there's a chip that tastes like it. But we can't make something healthy taste like not shit. I don't understand what the scientists of this great world and country are doing with their time. The Dorito scientists, what are you doing? How much money could you make if you made like a carrot taste like, I don't know, a pizza? Or something delicious. It's healthy. It tastes like the stuff that's not healthy. What? What are you doing? What are you guys doing? God damn it. I'm so up in arms. My arms are so up right now. They're figurative arms. Alright? I can't be bothered to actually raise my arms. Someone raise my... There's no one here to raise my arms for me. Okay. Apparently, guys, there is a new Die Hard movie that's going to be coming out, and I'd like to first precursor this with the fact that I actually enjoy Die Hard movies, and I'm not just talking about the first one. I enjoyed all of them. I mean, the one with Timothy Elephant was not the best, but it was actually, I really enjoyed it still. The new one where he has his son, I enjoyed that one as well. I feel like the worst one was probably 2 because it was a little bit boring in my opinion. And honestly, I'll even go so far as to say right here on the air that my favorite was Die Hard with a Vengeance with Samuel L. Jackson as the Blackman, taxi driver. That was my favorite one. I don't know. It made me. It just connected with me on a very base level about taxis. There's a lot of taxi-related activity in that movie, and I'm really into that. Okay? That said, as someone who's really into Die Hard movies against, you know, the critics' best efforts to say, you know, that these movies aren't very good recently, there's a new one coming out. It's called Die Hard Year One. I'd like to secondly say that that's a pretty sweet name, and I feel like if you put Year One at the end of any title, it makes it sound very intriguing, because everyone loves a good origin story, I've found out. Everyone loves a good origin story. From Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah, I'm gonna go with it. Mrs. Doubtfire's origin story is fantastic. And it's a real shame that there's not a Mrs. Doubtfire 2 with Robin Williams, the late, great Robin Williamson. There's just not and I feel like it's good that they started with her origin story first. I would have hated to miss out on the transformation from a middle-aged man into a very old British lady. Was that movie offensive to British people, English people? Was it offensive? I don't know. It's hard to tell these days if things are offensive. I just assume that everything is offensive, and I try to avoid just about everything. It's hard for me to even speak right now because I'm just constantly processing it through a filter of like, is this offensive? Is this offensive to hamburgers? Is this offensive to video games? Is this offensive to chicken? I don't know. I don't know. I can't say for sure. But there is at least one thing I can say for sure, and I am operating currently under the assumption that they will begin someone new to play the young Bruce Willis's character Jonathan McClane in the new movie Die Hard Year One. It's a prequel, as you may have assumed, of John McClane's story. I'm assuming as the first year of him as a cop. Otherwise, it's just a movie about John McClane being born, which could be something. I feel like it's a whole different tone, unless it's some sort of baby look who's talking now situation where he's actually doing all the action stuff as a baby. That is a top tier movie if I've ever heard of one. But Hollywood doesn't take chances like that. We all know that. We all know that. So I'm assuming it's going to be a young actor playing a young John McClane as his new cop on the force. Or maybe it's him, like, just getting as a detective. I don't know. Something like that. I haven't read too much into it, but I'm assuming that they're going to have a new actor, a young gentleman playing young John McClane. And I am going to go out on the record right now saying that that is a critical error by the people making this movie. It should be Bruce Willis playing himself young, 20 years, 30 years ago. Okay? He should have a wig on. He should not dye his hair. He should have a really weird, awkward brown wig on, playing young John McClane. And I'm going to stand by that until the movie comes out. And I will say this post-release on anyone who will ask me, if you guys have a podcast, why? Nobody, I don't even know why I'm making this, okay? There's too many podcasts. I say that, but then later on when I'm looking for something weird like alligator sex podcast, there's not going to be one. I'm like, man, there are not enough podcasts in this world. But anyway, if you guys have some sort of movie review podcast and you want to have me on as a host, or a guest rather, sorry, that's a totally different thing. If you want to have me on as a guest and want me to talk about Die Hard Year One, no matter how good this movie is, I will still stand by the statement that I think they should get Bruce Willis to be himself as a young man in his early 20s with a weird wig on. He might be able to do a voice as well. And I'm not talking about post-editing, post-processing, where they change his voice octaves. No, I mean he should do like he should change his own voice. He should be like a little higher pitched. He should do the whole movie that way. I think that would be the greatest thing ever. Non-ironically amazing, okay? Just a bit of a voice, a really weird wig where he has to like adjust it sometimes in some scenes. It's off to the side a little bit. Just playing himself as a young man in his 50s. That would be the greatest Die Hard movie. I think it might even surpass the first one in legendary status. Oh, Die Hard Year One, everyone. Go out to see it, and you guys can tell me when it's released if I'm right, that they should have gone my route. I would even say so far as it would probably be better to go the baby route as well. But moving on. I'd like to go and tell you guys a little bit about myself and give you a little bit of an origin story tidbit of my own, okay? So I was watching TV the other day. We have the HBO, or the hobo, as they call it in the circles. I like to watch TV before I go to bed, so I'll do my thing. I'll stream, or whatever I have to do. I'll work after the stream, do some graphic design, maybe work on some stream stuff for the next day. And then to wrap up the night, I'll get ready for bed. I'll get in my onesie, and I'll turn on the television, and I'll lay down and watch some television. And usually I'll watch a movie or something. And the thing about this is HBO, I feel like, still has, or any of the movie channels really, and HBO is probably the worst movie channel, I'm gonna be honest, in terms of like movies that they play. They have all these movies and they play the same like 3 movies for like 6 months. I'm gonna digress, however. The other day, on one of the movie channels, it may not even have been Hobo. It may have been Showtime, or maybe like Cinemax. I don't know. I don't remember. They're playing a classic film with one of my favorites, JeanClaude Van Damme. This movie was called Hard Kill. No, it wasn't. This movie was called Hard Target. Hard Target. It stars JeanClaude Van Damme as a young man named Chance Boudreaux. And he is a French Cajun gentleman in the Bayou. And he plays a man being hunted down for fun, for sport. But he is hard. He is a hard target. This movie is like an epitome of my young childhood because many people are inspired in their childhood by various things. I was really into JeanClaude Van Damme when I was a kid. I don't know what it was. I was really into JeanClaude Van Damme. When I was a small child, smaller than that, I was introduced very early on to the likes of legends such as Bruce Lee. And so I was just force-fed movies about martial arts and stuff like that. So whenever I was growing up, obviously I inherited a love for JeanClaude Van Damme, and I still do. So this movie, he plays a Cajun gentleman who is hunted by the people that killed one of his friends, and he's trying to like figure out what's going on. And they start hunting him because it's these rich dudes who are like the greatest gaming him, where they like are hunting down humans, and if they can get away, they can keep a bunch of money. But if they get found, obviously they're going to get shot in the head. Other places as well, but probably the head at some point. It just makes me think about how we all have these weird loves, I think. And I think it's great. I think it's great. I mean, as long as it's not hurting anyone else, you know? If you have a weird love of stabbing people, I can't really get behind it. But as someone who really enjoys fight choreography, even though, you know, it doesn't get a lot of love these days because nobody's impressed by it anymore, thanks to Michael Bay and the likes and stuff, I think it's awesome. And JeanClaude Van Damme, always a role model for me. And I feel like I should tell you this because it really influences a lot of the decisions and my current passions and goals in life, because it was my informative years whenever I was into JeanClaude Van Damme. Unfortunately, he's not up to par these days, and I don't blame JeanClaude for that. I blame the industry, okay? I feel like he could still be making top-notch films if they let him. I'm going to digress, okay? I have to say, there's few things in life that I want and do that are directly derivative of that passion for JCVD. For instance, unnecessary splits. Doing the splits for no reason. Just out in the middle of nowhere doing splits. I do that. Whenever I'm streaming, you can't see me from the neck, from like the chest down. I'm doing splits during every live stream. You're thinking, hey, you don't look very flexible. First of all, that's offensive. Second of all, you're wrong. Also, I've always wanted to catch a snake, a dangerous snake with venom, and knock him out with the punch. Knock a snake unconscious with the punch. Who doesn't want to do that? You may think, well, I didn't know it, but you're right. I do want to do that. Well, JeanClaude Van Damme instilled that passion in me at a very young age, thanks to his hit film, Hard Target. Ha! Fucking yeah! Alright. Random thought. The thought of puckering my lips and then blowing at various pressure rates into someone's waiting anus really unnerves me. Just the thought of puckering my lips, pressing the lips up against the puckered anus, and then blowing wind into the anus, it just makes me really uncomfortable. Thank you. Don't. No. It just, what would be the side effect is the thing. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Why would you do it? Let's talk for a moment about bat flips. And I'm not talking about bats that flip, the winged beasts. I'm not talking about sweet flips that Batman may do or any other sort of animal, flying animal flips. I'm talking about baseball bat flips. I think I've made it very clear in my other content that I really enjoy the sport of hockey, okay? Not any other sports, just hockey. But a lot of the people I follow who are into hockey and talk about hockey also talk about other sports, so I'm plugged in a way, to other sports, whether I like it or not. And there was a gentleman, Bautista. It's his name. That's his name. I'm not just saying that. It's his name. His team was playing in a playoff game, and it was a very close game, and they could have lost the game and, you know, gotten swept out of the playoffs, or not swept, but beaten. And he hit a ball, a grand slam or some shit, some crazy shit, and then he just flipped his bat, like, boom! And everybody is up in arms about this shit. Like, that's disrespectful to the game. And I have to say, why are you so old and white? Man, why are you so old and white? It's fucking awful. Like, who cares, man? First of all, it's a tense situation. Like, when you're sitting at home, it's a tense situation on your sports team. They're down by 1 or something nuts, and they score a goal or shoot a shot and get a point or something to score a touchdown. And you're like, yeah! It's just exuberant, just bursts out of your chest like an alien. And you're like, oh god, that was awesome. Well, how do you fucking think it feels to hit the ball like that? It feels amazing. You just got a mixture of rage and joy just coming out of you. Like a diarrhea of joy, a joyuria. That's an amazing feeling. I get pumped up about hockey. I watch hockey. It's a tense game. They score, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I just want to murder the other team. Like, I just want to murder them with words, because I'm like, this is my team. I wish the other team was dead. I want them to win the game and then kill them, because that would be the ultimate. So if I'm having these feelings, then why can't a baseball player actually doing the baseballing flip his fucking bat because he's pumped up? That, to me, tells me, like, in hockey, when you score a goal, they jump around, they're like fucking excited. I love that. I love seeing that on the players' faces and stuff. I love it when they jump into the glass, or they do like weird fucking things with their stick or whatever. The players all join up and like celebrate. In football, they do dances and shit. That's a little bit iffy because it's premeditated, so it's not the same. But, I mean, I approve of it, and I don't think anybody else should disapprove of it, because it's awesome. But for some reason, in baseball, when some dude hits a fucking grand slam to win the playoff game, and it's a nuts thing, and he flips his bat, the old white guys just fucking go crazy, man. Stop it! You're past your prime, dude. Just dig a 6-foot grave and bury yourself in death, because you're dead to me. Stop it. Thank you. Now, we can move on. I feel like we can move on now to the next section of Real Talk with Esh. Again, thank you for tuning in. This is the question and answer section. I have some questions that I've been sent in from various sources. I took some questions in Twitch chat. I took some questions on the Twitters. And I took some questions on ask.fm/EchPlays. I will tell you how to ask questions if you want to ask me questions for next episode after I answer these. Alright, here's a few questions. Alright, I've got 2 questions from a gentleman named Who Is High on the Twitch. A Twitch follower, a great dude. Thank you, Who Is High, for your questions. First one is, Dear Esh. He didn't say that, but I want to like precursor these with that because it makes it sound really cool. Dear Esh, why does it burn when I pee? I'm glad you asked, Who Is I, because there's various reasons it could be burning, and I will give you the top 3 reasons it could be burning when you pee. Number 1 is, I say number 1, let's start with 3. It's the least likely. Number 3, got some sort of STD, and that is causing the pee to burn because you are infected with some sort of dick rot. That's number 3. Number 2, you got soap in it, man. Sometimes you get soap in the dick, and when you pee it out, it burns a bit. It's a natural thing to get soap in your penis. It means you're keeping it clean. Just try not to get too much soap in there, alright? The top one, it's on fire. It's actually on fire, so if you look down and there's fire on your crotch, that's why it's happening. Kids, don't catch your dicks and or vaginas on fire. It doesn't, I would go so far as to say don't catch any body part on fire, or anything on fire, really. In this day and age, we don't need fires. There's electronics and stuff to do the same things. They cook, they heat food, they do all the stuff without an actual open fire. So don't catch anything on fire, but especially your genitals, because it will burn when you pee. It will also burn when you don't pee. His second question, Dear Ash, do you like movies about gladiators? That's a very specific question, Who Is I from Twitch. I do enjoy a good gladiatorial movie. I would go so far as to say that many movies are gladiatorial in nature that don't necessarily have gladiators specifically in them. Any sort of gauntlet fighting movie, such as Bloodsport or Fight Club, even, would be a gladiator. But if you're speaking directly of gladiator movies like Gladiator, the movie with Russell Crowe, well, I would say, yes, I fucking love it. Now, there are some bad ones, but I feel like there's a bad movie about any sort of topic can't be helped. But in general, I approve of a good gladiator movie. Gladiator movie, yeah. Crazy92 on Twitch asks, whose butt is nicer? Majin Buu's or Piccolo's butt? I would say, obviously, Piccolo's butt. Quantity is not quality, everyone. Okay? Quantity is not quality, and Piccolo's butt, I'm assuming, is green and very firm and taut, and I'm into that. Thank you for asking the question, Greasy. Dear Ash, says NFF12 on Twitch, can you give a final answer on the validity of the statement, everyone is half Centaur? I've given it a great deal of thought, NF. My first initial jump gut reaction is yes, we are all deep inside half Centaur, because of course Centaurs are half people, half horses. Should be noted, there can be other halves involved, such as instead of a horse half, a deer half, maybe a large dog half, but the default is obviously half person, half horseman. And at first you're like, yeah, you're really joyous and like positive about it. Yes, everyone is a half Centaur. I would do it so far as to say no now, however. After some deep analytical thoughts on the subject, I have to say that no, we're not. I feel like by saying we're half Centaur, it's sort of like some white guy being like, yeah, I'm part Native American. Fucking no, you're not, dude. Get the headdress off your head. It's fucking racist. So no, I don't think we are. I'm sad to say that I am not half Centaur. You're probably not half Centaur. I feel like the only way you'd be half Centaur is if a Centaur, a full actual Centaur, made sweet love to a human and you were born. That would be the only way. And I feel like you would know that if that was the case. Thank you for your question, however. I'm glad we got to clear that up. Which came first? Asks. Who was it? Dear Ash, asked Lily from the Twitter. Hashtag Real Talk with Ash. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. I will say that if I had to eat one first, I'd probably eat the eggs first. And then the chicken, if there was like an egg chicken platter. Yeah, definitely. The eggs first and then the chicken afterwards. Hopefully that answers your question. It doesn't. From some dude on Ask Him. Ask Him? From some dude on ask.fm/EchPlays asks, what's the last book you read? That's a great question, dude or dudette on ask.fm/EchPlays. I believe the last book and or books that I read were the ultimate nerdy books, the Drist Doerden books, the D&D books with the Dark Elf Drist. I read those, all of them, back to back. It was intense. The interesting thing about me and reading is I really enjoy reading, but I read in really aggressive, like undeniably passionate spurts, where I'll read like 7 books in a row, like in a couple days, and I won't stop. I'll read them no matter what. I'll put off important like things to read the books, and then I won't read another book for like a year. That's just how I roll. Like I read the entire Dark Tower series in like a week, and I didn't read another book for like 6 to 8 months. So those are the last books that I read. I think the next book I'd probably read will be Ready Player One. I don't know. That's just on my list, so I'll probably read that next. But who knows when? Thank you for the question, however. So thank you all for asking questions. Those are the questions I've chosen for this week. I appreciate it greatly. If you guys want to ask questions for next Real Talk with Esh, you guys can ask one of 2 ways. You can ask me on Twitter, at EchPlays. You can also include the hashtag Real Talk with Esh if you want to. I'll usually get around to it. At this point, it isn't necessary, but it's good to have a hashtag, right? So use that, or you can go now to ask.fm/EchPlays because it's become more and more apparent to me that not everyone wants or has a Twitter. So if you guys want to have a way to ask me questions where you don't need to sign up for anything, ask.fm/EchPlays is the way to go. Please include your name in there because it doesn't always add a name if you don't register an account or anything. So add a name to that bad boy so I know who's asking the questions. Thank you. Thank you guys all very much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that and got some insight into my life. Piccolo's butt. Inside of it. Deep inside. I wonder if the anus, if Piccolo's anus is like just a lighter shade of green, or if it's like a pink color, or what? Is the anus the color of the flesh or the color of what it's attached to inside? I don't know. Anyway, moving on to the final segment of Real Talk with Esh, the very first episode. I'm sorry, it's just me talking into a webcam. I don't have any sort of like special cameras or anything like that. Maybe in future we'll up the production value of this bad boy. For now, hopefully this will do you just fine. Alright, so the final portion is Esh News. News and announcements about me and my things. Number 1, there's a new t-shirt by the Software Inc. Inspired by the Software Incorporated, or Software Inc. Let's Play that's now going on YouTube. If you guys are watching that, you know that it's like a game dev tycoon sort of game where you sort of develop software and manage your little team of people and stuff. Well, the company's called Duck Anus Softworks, and there's now a company shirt on the store. You can get the shirt at spreadshirt.eshplays.com, among other things there, and that new shirt's now up. 16 bucks. I get some money. I'll then be able to, it's a good way to support me and get something from it, because I get a little bit of cash from it, and I can use that to improve the stream and maybe buy some new games to play for you guys and stuff like that, and you guys get a shirt. So boom, there you go. Plans for the stream, I'm going on. I'm still playing Minecraft. There isn't a whole lot of time left, so I feel like I could probably keep playing Minecraft on the stream until Fallout comes out. So there's that. As far as Retro Tuesdays, I took a 2-week hiatus from Retro Tuesdays after sort of beating Chrono Trigger. But I will be playing Star Wars Dark Forces, the Doom-inspired, old-school first-person shooters. Star Wars Dark Forces is one of my favorite games. I'll be playing that starting this Tuesday on the 20th or whatever. 20th. Is it 20th? Yeah, it's 20th. I'll be playing Star Wars Dark Forces. Feel free to look it up and take a gander at what you're going to be seeing. Another thing about the stream is I'll be taking a vacation. My lady is visiting for 4 or 5 days in November. So from the 4th through the 9th, I will not be streaming. And then, as you know, Fallout 4 comes out on the 10th and I will be then starting up the Fallout 4 Let's Play that everybody's waiting for. I'm really pumped about it, but before that, just give me a little bit of vacation time, and then I'll be back for Fallout 4. So that's the news for the stream. As far as YouTube goes, I'll be doing another recording. I just posted the last episodes this week that I had recorded for Software Inc. and Evil Land 2. I'll be doing another session of recording for Software Inc. and Evil Land 2 this week, and those will start going out as soon as tomorrow. And I'll also be doing a new probably brief, but I'll play as long as I can, a Let's Play of Shopkeep, the game, game that's in alpha right now. It should also start accompanying those two series on YouTube sometime this week. So stay tuned for that. I appreciate it. I have a lot of spit in my mouth. I should have brought a drink for this. But thank you guys all for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed yourself, and hopefully the audio didn't cut out or something dumb. I love you all. Thank you all for watching. Again, I mainly stream now, but I am trying to keep the YouTube content going. So come by twitch.tv/EchPlays if you haven't yet. And if you're watching this on stream, come by youtube.com/EchPlays and check that stuff out. Thank you very much for coming by. Let me know in the comments, or let me know via Twitter or some other way of communicating with me of what you think of the new show. Goodbye.